So, hello everyone, and welcome to the One Point Safety Show again with another episode with myself and my glorious co-host Scouse Andy. How are you, mate? You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay, mate. Yeah, I'm doing all right. How are you, man?
Good, yeah, I'm all right, mate. Live on YouTube, as we have done for the last couple of weeks. I think we sorted it, but unfortunately, we can't seem to get our groovy new tune intro into YouTube. So, if there's anyone out there on Twitter or X who watches the stream or wants to comment on the stream and knows how to do these things, please hook up me or Scouse. Scouse is at Scouse20 on Twitter, or you can
Sounds
go
like
to the show, which is a One Point Safety 4, or you can find me on Twitter, which is at Scotty H84. If you give us a DM and you can give us a hand, if you know how to do these things, please give us a shout because we're all technophobes. So, Scouse, yeah, another busy week
Scout
in
at Scout.
Commander's Land.
Yeah, man.
What's going on at your end then, really? Anything that we think we're going to talk about? I mean, at the moment, it looks like the head coaching candidates are being drifted down. I mean, we've had John Harbaugh go to the Chargers
Jim.
yesterday, and it looks like
Jim.
there's Jim. Did I say John Harbaugh?
Mm-hmm.
Apologies. Jim Harbaugh. That's who I meant, the Michigan coach. He has gone to the LA Chargers. And also, it looks like who was it today? Was it the Bucks offensive coordinator has now gone to is he at the Panthers? I think.
That's
Or was it
right.
the
Yeah.
Titan? It was at the Panthers, yeah.
Was the
So
Panthers? It was what's his name? Canales.
yeah, I think so. I will have a look at that as we are
Yeah,
on
I know
here
his
live.
first name. I don't know his first name, but yeah.
So it looks like the ducks are falling in a row. It looks like everything's kind of almost falling into place, really, isn't it, for us to go down the route of Ben Johnson or potentially Bobby Slowick. I know that the Commanders are set to go out to Detroit. Is it tomorrow they're going across to see both Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson for face-to-face interviews?
Well, they're not allowed to until the 29th, are they?
That's
So that's Monday, isn't it?
it's
So
Monday, it must be. So it's
they
after
are
the
going over the
playoffs then.
weekend. Yes. Correct.
Hmm, interesting. So
Yeah, that
obviously,
shows that we're meaning business, man. That shows that we're going in all guns blazing Monday. We're the first people to interview, and we want to come. We want him to come here, and hopefully we can don't let him leave the room without signing a contract. You know.
you'd like to think so, wouldn't you? I mean, honestly, I think he is the nailed-on candidate at the moment for this job. I've been listening to John Kime's pod. I've been listening to the media noises around him. It looks like the offense is going to hit here with him in charge. I've not heard anything about his leadership skills to say that it's bad or there's been no worries coming from it. But yeah, it looks like he is the candidate that's there at the moment. I know they've looked at Raheem Morris as well, and also Eric Bieniemy had an interview this week as well. What are your thoughts on the Eric Bieniemy interview, Scouse?
I mean, they must be going through the motions there, to be honest, because the guy's not shown anything that he deserves to be a head coach. So he doesn't need to be here. So see you later.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, his offense didn't work. It was clearly obvious. I mean, I get that you've got to put your coaches around you as well. You know, you've got to look around and say, well, maybe EB didn't have the chance to do that, but we know what his offense brought, and it didn't bring a lot. So it's like, okay, it looks like all the dominoes are kind of falling into place, and we're going to end up with Ben Johnson. I mean, I'm not sure if it's 100% certainty. I mean, the other two candidates that are out there, we talked, I think, a little bit last time's pod about Bobby Slowick, but maybe that's a year too soon. I mean, you still seem to think it's a year too soon. Am I right in your thinking there,
Yeah,
Scouse?
yeah. I think I say Slovak. He just needs a bit more experience, a bit more seasoning, shall we call it? Um, to be fair, if Slovak was genuine, one of our real candidates, we would have interviewed him already. We haven't. So
Yeah.
because he's out the playoffs, so he could be interviewed earlier, and we haven't done that. So
Has he
that's how it
had
would
a
be.
has he had a face-to-face interview yet, Slowick, or not?
Not with us, he hasn't. No. So,
Mm.
um, and we've not even attempted to try and get a face to face. So that shows that we're all in on Johnson, especially that we're actually coming to him, not the other way around.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, agreed.
it's pretty big, really, that we're going over to him rather than waiting for him to finish playoffs, come out, and then come out to us in Miami or wherever Josh's nice house is. You know. So yeah,
Yeah,
man,
he hasn't.
I'm
He
excited,
hasn't
man.
been. I am too. I'm very
These are the
excited. He hasn't
first.
been.
These were the first two guys that we were thinking of at the start. Who were the best people available for
Mm,
GM and for head coach? Peters was number one for GM. Ben Johnson was number one for head coach.
yeah.
And it looks like, all well, cross fingers here and touch wood, but looks like we're going to get Ben Johnson as well. I mean, even Boomer Esiason on his pod recently said, like this, I think it was like yesterday, I think, he mentioned that it's a lock. It's already a lock. Ben Johnson's coming to us as our head coach. So, and he's saying stuff like that, which is obviously nothing to do with, he's nothing to do with us, you know what I mean? But even he's saying it's a lock, it's guaranteed. So I
Yeah,
can't wait.
that's what I'm hearing. I'm hoping the media are right in what they're saying. I mean, we had a question in on the pod. We had a question in here from let me have a look. Sorry about that. We had a question from yeah, so it's from Craig Skinner, Craig Skin N on X or Twitter. He said here, if we do get Johnson as head coach, who becomes OC? What about Vic Fangio, who's just left Miami, as DC? Now, I know Vic Fangio's obviously said he's doing it for personal reasons. He wants to be closer to home in Pennsylvania. Obviously,
Well, he
Washington to
signed for the Eagles
Pennsylvania.
about 3 hours ago. So
Oh, has he really?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So,
okay.
he's
You
off the
go then.
market. So he's going to the
All right.
Eagles.
So that's
Even
done.
like guys like Philly 500 are saying it's virtual guaranteed. It's over basically. So and that was about 3-4 hours ago when I listened
Fair
to it.
enough.
So yeah,
So we
man.
appreciate your question,
So yeah,
and we will.
unfortunately,
He's
Vic would have
done.
been a good one. Vic
Yeah,
would
I
have been a
think
good
so
one
too.
for us. Because it's nice if you're going to go with Ben Johnson, who's obviously inexperienced in general, as a leader of men. Someone like Vic Fangio, everyone's looked up to him for years. So that would be great. The youth of the head coach and the slash OC, and the experience of the defensive guy, just like
So,
McVay when he went to the Rams.
we're Wade Phillips, yeah.
He went to exactly. He brought in Wade Phillips for his defense, and obviously the guy's been around. He's been a head coach as well. This guy's got ultimate experience, and McVay learned from him. So I would have been happy with a Fangio defensive coordinator for sure. But shame that he's gone to one of our great rivals.
Yes, one thing I was going to ask you about there then is, from my own point of view, do you think though that Ben obviously comes in here, runs his own offense, works as the OC as well as head coach, or do you think it's like as a dual tandem? Now, a lot of coaches do that. I understand that, but watching Ron run the defense and be head coach obviously didn't work. Or do you think he brings in an OC and a DC as separate to him just being the head coach?
Yeah, I do. I genuinely believe he'll bring in his favorite O line coach.
As OC?
Yeah, as OC, and
Okay.
because he's obviously them two are like this. They've been like that for a while. They both
Yeah.
know they both know the system inside out, and it's a promotion for that guy. I think it's a Farley or something like that. Farley. One sec, I've got it written down somewhere, mate.
No, it's okay.
But basically,
He's the O line's coach at the minute. I heard John Kime talking about it as well on his pod, saying
Frank Haley. His name is
Frank Haley. Right, cool.
Yeah, so Frank Haley, he's the O line coach over at Detroit, and obviously him and Ben Johnson are like that, and I think that would be again promotion for him. And Haley's actually from the DMV area, so
Oh, right, okay.
even better for him. So he'd be like a little closer back to home. Promotion, because he will be in the class as an OC, even though he's not full control, but at least he will have some more input.
Yeah, and he'll run Ben's playbook basically is what
Exactly,
we're
yeah.
looking
And
at.
he will,
Okay.
obviously Ben will probably be the play caller, and then obviously help with kind of building the scheme. These guys learning, installing the playbook. That's where Frank Haley comes in, and obviously himself as well, obviously. So, I wouldn't be mad at that at all, to be fair.
Do you think he needs then? We just talked about it before about Fangio, but do you think he needs then a outstanding older DC who's a steady hand on the tiller, if you like, who can who runs your own complete defensive scheme, is able to take that on board, possibly someone who's a former head coach, and just say, right, you go with it. Because at the end of the day, there's people out there who've lost their jobs this year. And I'm not saying let's get a retread, who would make fantastic DCs. And they would come in, run their scheme and their experience. Like, I mean, Mike Vrabel hasn't gone anywhere. So I'm not saying he will do. Would you be accepting of someone like that? I mean, look at who's the chap who's in.
Can't see him going down to DC though, as in
No,
as defensive coordinator.
well, you
Can't see that.
don't know. They've got to get a job. They've got to get a job somewhere in the game. That's the problem, isn't it? I mean, I know you've got college and you've got other bits to go
Yeah, I
with.
mean, I've got two guys. I've got two. I was doing some research earlier, and I've got two guys who are experienced guys for DC, and two younger guys that you probably might not have heard of.
Okay.
So what I'll do is I'll go with the two guys. I mean, I think it's one of our questions actually from somebody else about who would you hire, those type of things. So for me, the experienced ones, Matt Patricia. I think he'd be
Right, wow.
even though he was at the Eagles and I know he came in like mid-season to try and do the play calling. Yeah, that wasn't his defense. We all know it wasn't his defense. It was just like Ron Rivera with JDR's defense. You can't do shit with that. You know what I mean? So for me, Matt Patricia is a very good one for defensive coordinator if you're looking for some experience. And also Wink Martindale. I think he's the other guy.
Yeah, Wink is unbelievable.
You should look into one of those two. Very experienced guys. Wink's never been a true head coach, but he's got so much experience. He's been around the block. He knows the game. So I'll be happy with either one of those four experienced DCs. If you want to go Chris Harris. I like Chris Harris.
Wow.
Bring Chris Harris back. Or the Georgia Bulldogs. He's a co-defensive coordinator. His name's Glenn Schumann.
Mm-hmm.
He's only 33. And he looks legit. So they would be quite nice for a defensive coordinator. But again, if you're going to go Ben Johnson, you can't really go inexperience at DC. I think you need some guy with experience in that coaching, like head coaching or the primary kind of coordinator roles.
I think there's talk of Kevin Shepherd, who's at the Lions at the minute, is ultimately going to be the next step up from linebackers coach up to being a DC. Now they're saying he's basically a DC in waiting, and they're quite happy with him coming in. And
I'm not a huge fan of Detroit's defense, really. Though I'm not a huge fan of it. To be fair, that's why Aaron Glenn, when we were going to be interviewing as well. By the way, when we're over in Detroit, is it Aaron Glenn?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I'm not really. I think we're going through the motions with him personally. I do. But again,
it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting what happens and who he brings in to supplement this staff. I mean,
if Ben Johnson's the man, and it looks like he is, to be fair, this is like 95% done. I think personally, he just hasn't got to mess up his next interview, and he'll be fine.
Do you think there's any?
You've got to go experience DC. You have to.
Yeah. I think there's two questions on the back of that. Then, Scouse, I've got for you is: would you go at all with? Do you think Mike Macdonald is out of the picture completely? Because obviously, with the Ravens still being in the championship game, he's done everything. He's beat every team that's currently around in there, and
his defense smokes all these
superstar offensive. Unbelievable. It is unbelievable. So all of these, you Ben Johnsons, your Bobby Slowicks, you this, you that, he's beat them all. And we're like,
and he shut them all down. I mean, I think he gave Ben Johnson 6 points. Was it 6 points one match? So it's So
do you go? Teams. Do you? The only issue I've got with that is if you end up going defensive, would Eric Bieniemy keep his job because he's under contract for another year?
And that is a possibility. But it all depends on. But again, but McDonald might come in and go, well, no, I don't want EB. Goodbye. And I'm sure that the ownership would allow EB to be fired or traded or whatever the hell it is, gardening leave for a year, whatever you want to call it. He's out the building. I mean, to be fair, I say I wouldn't be unhappy with those two, with Johnson
Yeah,
or
that's the two
McDonald. I like
candidates.
McDonald a lot, to be
But the
fair.
only reason I'm thinking about McDonald here is because he has that connection with Eugene Shen. And that is what I'm looking at from Baltimore. He's got that, he's got that connection with Eugene Shen, and I'm thinking to myself, there's a lot going on here that we could be dealing with. But if it's a small chance, either or, I mean, these are the two top candidates, but it does look like Johnson is a lock. That is exactly where everything's trending towards.
Yeah, it looks like.
Funnily enough, we're one of only 3 openings left at the moment. I mean, the Titans have who did they hire? Brian Callahan. It was Callahan who used to be here. It's his son. They've got him in. Yeah, they've got him in from the Browns or the Bengals, I think. Yeah, or the Browns. I can't remember which one it is.
Okay, so he's head coach there at Titans.
He's head coach of the Titans. Yeah,
I didn't know that one. I thought that was Logan.
No, that was
all Seattle and them. That's what I thought.
No, it's Seattle, us, and Falcons. Atlanta Falcons are the only 3 left.
And the Titans are gone. Okay.
And the Titans are gone, yeah. So it's you know what I mean? At the end of the day, there's all these people who are on this coaching carousel and are on this trend to going, oh, well, this person's highly thought of and this person's highly thought of. How does it work? Because, I mean, I get it that you've got to release them if they're going to they're getting interviews for a higher job. Completely understand that works in the NFL. But do you go back to a team with your tail in between your legs and go, oh, I'll carry on where I was last year? That's got to be quite, you know what I mean? It's got to be a bit awkward, hasn't it? Because then you think to yourself, you're probably going to do exactly the same in the next off season, and you might get a job. The likes of Bobby Slowick, I can understand that because he's had 1 year of experience as an offensive coordinator. But say you're someone like Dan Quinn, or you're someone like Mike Vrabel, or you're someone like Bill Belichick. What is actually going on here? Are they just going to disappear out of the league, or do they go back to their old jobs? I mean, Belichick can't, obviously, because Jerod Mayo is now at the New England Patriots, so that's a done deal. But you can't just disappear. I mean, why are you even interviewing Bill Belichick? Surely you go, what do you need to know in an interview? What? Hello, Bill. Can you tell me what you've got on your resume? I mean, yeah, do me a favor.
He's cheated a lot.
All right, you're saying he's cheated a lot. I get that.
The Lance Armstrong of the NFL. Yeah.
Come on, man. He is the greatest coach of all time, apart from
biggest
obviously.
Cheat of all time.
Well, I know what you're saying.
To be fair, I mean, I think he's got a second interview, hasn't he? At Atlanta
Falcons, yeah, he has. Apart from Joe Gibbs, obviously, Joe Gibbs is the GOAT. You know what I mean? Let's not get it twisted. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he's got a second interview at Atlanta, so that looks like the dominoes fall in there, and then that only leaves 2 openings and a lot of other areas to go. So does that end up being okay? We end up with Ben Johnson. The final one is Mike Macdonald. Would he even get a look? There's got to be people out there who you could possibly pick up. And I think you're right. I think an experienced DC is exactly where we need to go with an inexperienced OC. So it'll be
or head coach.
It'll be or sorry, head coach. My apologies. You knew what I meant. Yeah. So we're just rambling here anyway. We're rambling.
Always.
Always, yeah. So I mean, there's not a lot else.
I mean, some of these guys you mentioned, to answer your question before, was about people like where does Vrabel go, or these guys, they'll end up in the backroom staff of some teams. They will. I mean, okay, they won't be a head coach, or might not even be a defensive coordinator, but what they'll be some sort of coordinator, like passing game coordinator, or just make up some bloody stupid terms just to get these guys in, so you can still utilize their experience and scheming of things. So, the bigger names like you mentioned, Vrabel and stuff, he won't be out of a job for long. You might not be the big honcho, but you'll get another job that easy.
Yeah, I mean, look at Ron Rivera's got to be pissed off this week that Fangio decided I want to go home because he was going for an interview with the Eagles. I mean, what did you think of that? Or was that, again, just going through the motions because you get in who you get in?
Well, the thing is as well is that, unfortunately, Ron's counted as the Rooney Rule.
Of course he is, yeah, because Puerto Rican, isn't he? Yeah, Puerto Rican descent. So, yes, of course he is, yeah.
So he's not technically. He's they've probably just ticked the box on that one. But I don't think they're really interested in hiring him.
No, that's terrible. I mean,
it's brutal as well. That's the problem with the Rooney Rule alone.
It's shocking, isn't it? You've got to go with who. who's the best candidate for the job, irrespective of what the color of your skin is. But
Yeah, and that's the
I
problem.
don't get that. I
I mean,
don't understand that either.
in the NFL. There's a lot of nepotism, as we know. You
Oh,
hire,
of course
hire
there
your
is.
mates and this and that, the other, and
Oh, come
you
on,
just put it
dude.
down. You just put it down as, oh, it's people I trust. No, no, they're your
Mm,
mates. Simple as that. Um, Whereas the Rooney Rule was obviously coming in to say, well, no, because everyone was being white. You know what I mean? The
yeah,
coaches were being white, so because they were friends of friends or friends of owners or whatever the hell it is. Um, okay, it's all well and good making this Rooney Rule, but on the flip side, then it wastes people's time. It wastes
mm,
the time that they can never get back in their lives.
yeah,
You know, Ron Rivera for the defensive coordinator job. Eric Bieniemy, 15 interviews that he's had now for different head coaching jobs and not got one. So, it's all well and good having this kind of thing where you're mandated, you must have at least 3 or 4 or whatever the hell it is number wise of minorities. But you've got to be good enough as well. You've got to be
you
good.
have to. Yeah,
You've got to nail it at interview. I know that ownership might have their own idea about a certain person, or they might want this guy. Like, for example, our guy,
Ben
Andy
Johnson.
Peters.
Oh, Peters. Yeah,
So,
yeah, Peters at GM.
Peters
Yeah,
is number one guy, and then obviously the other guy was Ian Cunningham, who was he's a black man, isn't he? So
yeah, he's a minority
yeah,
candidate. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So the thing is, now again, he was close enough. He was that close to getting the job. That shows how well he impressed at interview. That was just unfortunate that the already had a preconceived idea of Peters being the man anyway. So no
Yeah, but there's no Rooney rule for there's no Rooney rule for general managers. I don't believe.
No,
I think it's
no.
just for.
Well, what I'm saying is that he actually did the opposite. He actually,
of course,
earned it because of what he's been doing, and he just missed out on it. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if you're forced to do those things, you're already on a disadvantage. Because if the owner really loved, I don't know, Todd Bowles, for example,
yeah, yeah.
If the owner loved him, he'd be on your interview list anyway.
Of course he would.
See what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter about like if you love the guy because of his skill set or whatever, then they would get an interview anyway, and then it's down to them then to nail the interviews and then persuade these guys to hire him instead of somebody else and go from there. See what I mean? So that's what it should be about. It shouldn't be that you should be mandated and forced into.
Yeah, I mean, look
waste people's time, man, and I feel bad for the people who don't get the job because of it, because you waste their time, their preparation, because they're going to prepare to have an interview with us, for example, and then they're going to graph like hell. They're going to try and impress you, and you've already got the idea of, well, I didn't really want to interview you, but I had to because the Rooney Rule. So I hate that. That's why I think it's a shit. I think it's a shit rule. I really do.
It's the same as any walk of life, though, really. If you go into it, right, this is what I'd never understand with people. If I go into a job interview and there's a woman, there's a black ethnic minority candidate, there's whatever candidate is out there, if they're more qualified, they're better experienced, their skill set beats mine out, fair play, get the job. You just got to suck it up and go, well, I wasn't good enough this time, but I'll improve for next time. You shouldn't have to be mandated to go through things, but I understand why they brought it in and the premise behind it, because there wasn't enough opportunities for black ethnic minority candidates to get jobs in the NFL. I completely understand that. And at the time, it worked, and it worked for a reason, which is great. But when you look at around of most of the staffs, I mean, while we've been on this pod, I Googled the Detroit Lions staff. There's 5 black and ethnic minority candidates. I Googled the Minnesota Vikings staff. There's 4 black and ethnic minority candidates. We are we had one of the least franchises with any black ethnic minority women, any of that in our backroom staff, in any of our vice presidency roles, in any of our off the books. We were one of for a long time. Now, for the last 3 or 4 years, we've got a black president. We have lots and lots of women in roles. We have black and ethnic minority candidates. We've got a woman running backs coach. I mean, we are being quite progressive as a franchise and as an organization, but I don't think that opportunity is as bad as it was 25 years ago or 20 years or however long it is since the Rooney Rule's become a thing. Because now, like I said, just Googling 2 staff there's 10 people. And you think, well, okay, there's surely an opportunity for people out there. Look at Flores. He's suing the NFL, but he's bounced around so many bloody DC spots and head coaching spots that he's doing well. He's great at Minnesota. That's a DC I'd like to hire. Do you know what I mean? I think he's great.
Yeah,
But
when he was, but the thing is though, you'd have to you wouldn't you're
you'd
never
have
going to
to,
get these
you wouldn't
guys moving
nah,
sideways.
nope.
You've got to give him a head coaching role, but
Yep.
and Flores is not going to get that because of the grief that he's causing the NFL at the moment.
Mhm.
Now you might go, well,
So,
that shouldn't be right. It shouldn't really be a factor, but you know it is. Deep down, you know it is. Even if you can't really prove it, everyone knows it is. Like he got blackballed.
he did. He
He
did.
got fired for being 8-8. I think that was harsh, especially when he won like 7 or 8 in a row, something like that. It was when he was at Dolphins as head coach,
Mm.
and
I mean, yeah,
I felt bad for Flores. I really did. I mean, I think he's a
I
great
did.
defensive guy. Um, that's harsh, but most of the guys haven't really proved it. They proved that they're good enough. Do you know what I mean? Like DeMeco Ryans this year, brilliant.
Yeah, great, fantastic coach. Absolutely fantastic.
Nobody's saying about him, oh, he's not good enough. He doesn't deserve to be head coach. No, they're saying, no, this guy's a good up and coming stud. And he proved the first season along with CJ Stroud and Slowick. No, and
Hmm.
that's it. No, just those three together made a huge difference together.
Okay, so I mean, following on from what we talked about before about Johnson, obviously, if he is the new head coach, I mean, this is Craig Skinner again. He's talked about. He said, "Does the new head coach help determine who we pick at two? Does Johnson's scheme suit Daniels or May?" Now, looking at this, the talk at the moment is that obviously it looks likely that the Chicago Bears are going to go with Caleb Williams. Now, I don't know if that's the way they're going to go with their hand. We've had this talk for a while. Would I take Justin Fields? Yeah, no problem at all for a third. You know what I mean? Absolutely no problem. Would I give up the second round choice? Maybe I'd trade back with New England, something like that, get some more picks, get the offensive line sorted, a little bit lesser of a rebuild, but you're going to have to pay Justin Fields. So I can see it from both sides of the fence. For me, Johnson's scheme suits Drake May better than Jaden Daniels. It doesn't suit we're not saying that you're a pocket passer and you're a statuesque quarterback. I mean, Jared Goff can run a little bit, but it's predicated on the running game. It's predicated on having good backs running the scheme. It's predicated on having a good offensive line. He's an offensive line first guy, which is interesting. Everything he said runs through the offensive line. So if we do end up with Johnson's scheme, that is going to be where we're starting at the front. We're going to have to try and get the offensive line to work. I mean, he has made Jared Goff a top 15 quarterback. No doubt about it. This guy looked like when he came out of, having a Super Bowl, going to a Super Bowl with LA, dumped on the scrap heap, he looked like a bit of a bust. And then the last 2 years, he's been brilliant for Detroit. Look at the two backs. We talked about it last week. Gibbs, you've got Montgomery, both over 1,000 yards. You've got Amon-Ra St. Brown, 1,500 yards. You've got Sam Laporta coming on. Every bit of this offense says it's great. You know what I mean? So what's your thoughts on that? Are you still on the Drake May train, or are you on a Caleb Williams train? Are you on the Jaden Daniels train? What's your thoughts?
I mean, to be fair, if you want me to rate my quarterbacks and what I think,
go on.
I think it's Williams one. I think he's the best quarterback in the thing. I do. He's a diva. That does put me off a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I thought we've already had our genie, and we're still dealing with him now, even in the media. That's how much of ego he is. So that puts me off a little bit. But skill set wise, he's probably the best overall quarterback. For me, then I don't like Daniels, and I don't like May either. To be honest, I don't like any of them. I think. Oh, would I be happy to pick them at two? It wouldn't for me. It wouldn't massively move the needle. It really wouldn't.
Wow.
And you're thinking, oh, Daniels is this and that, and that. No, Daniels. I mean, people say to me, oh, he does his reads. No, he doesn't. He's a one read guy and gone. He leaves the pocket that fast. That's what he is. He's a one read guy and then he runs. If that's not there, he's running. He's taking the ball down. He's going. I don't care what everyone says. You say, oh, he goes through three reads. No, he doesn't. He really doesn't. That puts me off. That was an RG3 problem as well, by the way. So that puts me off there. Drake May Drake May, he's got the size. He's got a decent arm, but you've got to give him the protection.
Yeah.
Could he do Johnson's scheme? Yes, I think he could. And don't forget Johnson's that great that he makes his players better. So it doesn't matter what skills they've got. He'll tweak his scheme to fit. So I'm not worried about Johnson's scheme per se. But when you look at the attributes of these quarterbacks, May's not very good with the deep ball. He reminds me of Sam Howell, just 6'4". That's the only difference. He really does. So he's got a decent arm, not unreal, but a decent arm, not massively accurate with the deep ball. The only difference is on the run, May's not very good throwing it. It's not accurate. His accuracy goes down when he's on the run. So if he leaves the pocket, like for example, Sam's been doing a lot, where he's actually better at May than in that area. But in general, he doesn't move the needle for me as saying this guy's the real deal. He's this and that. Now, I mean, for me, the best passer the best passer in this draft is Penix.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. He is very, very good.
By far. The difference is though is that he really would suit Miami. Why? Because they've already got a left-handed, and their system shoots a left-handed quarterback. So, they've got the right tackle sorted over there because that's obviously the
that's the blind side protector.
So he would work really well there, to be honest, at Miami. But and then I'm thinking, well, who've you got after that? JJ McCarthy,
Bo Nix.
But to be fair, I like Bo Nix better than May at this moment. I really do. I do. I like him better. Wow. He's not flash, but he'll move the chains.
Okay, so then let's look ahead. Let's fast forward. What are you doing at 2, or what is your strategy going into the draft? Depends if
Williams is gone.
If Williams goes with Chicago, and you now know we are taking Caleb Williams, he is gone. They've rang up and they've said Justin Fields is on the trade block. We're letting every GM know around the league. Tell us what's going on. Are you looking at someone like Justin Fields? Are you saying no? I'm going to take a quarterback at 2? Because for me, this is the biggest problem we've had in 25 years. My entire fandom, we've never had a settled quarterback. We had one. We had a franchise quarterback in Kirk Cousins and chased him out the door. But that's a different story. That is a totally different story. I mean, Kurt's available, but he is. But
you know how much money he costs? He'd be 36 next time he plays. So
yeah, I know, and he's just coming off an ACL, isn't he, as well? So was Achilles? Sorry. So I mean,
he'd be expensive. That's the problem with Kirk Cousins.
30 mil plus. Yeah.
He's never been cheap, has he? Let's face it.
We've been here before, and the thing that fans think, and that I know I'm a fan, and we all want it to happen, is fans think this is it. We're never going to pick this high again. We're never going to be picking it 2.
You did it 4 years ago, mate.
That's what I'm saying. 4 years ago, we picked Chase Young. I mean, you could hindsight's 2020. You can always go back and look and go, "Well, should have took 2. I should have took Herbert." But we didn't know. The consensus pick was always Chase Young. So I don't believe in any of that shit. That it was.
You thought this guy was going to be.
Yeah, of course you did.
You know what I mean? That's what you're thinking.
Exactly right. It was the pick that everybody talked about.
No, he's done nothing. He's been awful. I mean, okay, bad injuries. He probably won't even get picked up at the end of the season. I don't think Niners are going to sign him, and I don't
think the Niners are going to sign him.
Hire him unless it's the vet min. I don't think.
I think he'll bounce around teams.
Not for big money though, because he's crap. You know what I mean?
No, it'll be for an average contract. I think.
So what I'm doing to answer your question originally of
go on, mate. Yeah.
What would I do at 2 if Caleb Williams has gone?
Mm-hmm.
I would be trading down. I'd be trading down to say 4, 5.
Okay.
Get some serious haulage because you'll get a lot to drop down that many. And then go and get me my left tackle. Go and get me my Joe Alt. Go and get me. He'll be there at 5. Bring it in. Get me some offense. You mentioned before Ben Johnson's an offensive line guy first.
There you go.
You might see it happen like that. So
then you've got a set. Then you've probably also picked up a second, or you've picked up Yeah,
Next
or
year's first as well,
a next
probably.
season's first, which you can certainly trade back in and get another tackle if you want
If you
another
wanted to
one,
go like that, or you want to
and
come
then
up
you
and
go,
get, or you want to come up towards the middle or the end of the first round and go for like
yeah,
the Bowers, and then you've got the Bowers, and then you've got your offensive tackle.
you've got a tight end, you've got a tackle. You can
That's what I meant.
always
Sorry,
pick
taken
up
a
a, yeah, I
yeah.
know what you mean. You can always pick up I mean, there's a lot out there. There's a lot of decent tackle. There's a guy from Yale, can't remember his name for the life of me now. There's a few Kingsley or Sulamatra, I think he's called. He's looking pretty awesome. There's lots and lots of right tackles in this draft. There's about 5 or 6 left tackles, but the left tackles are going to be top end picks.
Yeah, they're gonna be
Amarius Mims, great player, can play left or right. Imagine if you go right, you've drafted back, you've got Joe Alt and Amarius Mims, and and then you've
your
also got
for the next 5 years minimum,
yeah,
if
then
not
you've
longer.
also got the
You can afford
seconds
them.
and thirds. So do you then build around Sam Howell and say, hey, you know
No,
what,
no.
we're gonna
I mean, you
you
could do.
taking a
I mean, don't
QB?
get me wrong. I'm not. I mean, I wouldn't be against that.
Are you taking Penix?
But no, I'm taking Bo Nix. That's who I'm taking.
Okay,
I'm taking Bo Nix in the
okay, in the
second.
second round.
That's where I'm taking him. Yeah, I'm taking him.
Wow.
That's what I'm going to do.
And then are you doing a full competition between Sam and Bo Nix and saying
Yeah,
battle it out?
battle it out. The best man win? There you go.
Wow, Scousey sizzle is here. Honestly, mate, I think it's a lock and nailed on that we're going to get Drake May. The only reason I think that is because you need this 5th year for a QB. If you're
Yeah,
going to have
I
to
get it.
pay
I
a
mean, what
QB,
we might do what Baltimore did with Lamar. Just come into 32nd. So
true,
right
yeah,
at the end of the first and get a Bo Nix or get a Penix because they might still be available then.
they probably will be. They
Yeah.
probably will
I mean,
be.
Penix, his stock went down because of that bad game in the final.
Yeah, of
Um,
course he did.
but
Plus he's
again, the
got no
whole team played
knee.
shite, mate. He didn't have anyone helping him out. So
He's got no knees as well, so that's not helpful. But
yeah,
hey,
that's the risk. That's the risk. And your whole
risk.
system's got to change because he's a left-hander. So no, you've got to be your right tackle. You've got to be more concerned about more than your left. So that would change your whole strategy on would you get a Joe Alt or would you go for a top right tackle like Frawaga or something like that.
Mm.
So again, it's all ifs, isn't it? It's all ifs and buts. That's the problem,
It's
isn't
all
it?
ifs and buts, and this is the problem: is
Yeah.
we're so far out. We haven't even had the Super Bowl yet. We haven't even had we haven't even had the championship games yet, and we're talking about is it going to be this? Is it going to be that? It's ridiculous. Simon P. Thurston on X, he said, "What if the incoming head coach and/or OC wants to roll with 14 next season?" I'm honestly not against it. I'm not like
Me neither.
100% against Sam
Oh,
Howell.
I
was
you listened to
disappointed.
me. You listened to me last
Yeah,
season,
yeah,
halfway
yeah.
through the season. I was like, mate, I'm all in. I mean, he's got the skill set. He's got a skill set. But the thing is, he's a little short. That's the biggest problem. He struggles to see over his defensive line, which I understand. These guys are man mountains, and he's like 6 foot at best. And then you've also now he's ruined his confidence. His confidence is gone. Now, if Ben Johnson can come in and go, well, you know what? He might be the alter ego guy, mightn't he? Oh, yeah, you know what? I'll fix Sam Howell. I'll get his confidence back. I'll scheme it the way it'd be perfect for him, blah, 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 blah. So they might even go quarterback in the first. They might get one maybe later on, second, third, just to see, to actually have another quarterback because Brissett's not going to be here. So we definitely need another quarterback minimum somewhere in the draft or free agency, but I can't see us paying out big money. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be a guy from the draft. We are definitely going to get a quarterback. It just depends where.
I mean, I think that's the problem you've got is everyone wants success and everyone wants to do, they want the instant success. They want the rebuild to not be a rebuild. I mean, we look at the likes of Houston. We look at and what D'Amico Ryans has done. We talked about it before.
Talk about Houston, though. They've been doing things under the radar.
Correct. No, I know. Laramie
Tunsil. It took them 3 years to get to this.
Yeah, Laramie Tunsil. I've said this on the Bleeding Burgundy pod as well, and you were on it as well when we were talking about this. The likes of the Jaguars, the likes of Houston, the likes of who else is there that have built up teams with rookie quarterbacks. They've done it the way that Ron was supposed to do it. They've built around, dropped the QB in, and gone. There we go. We're ready to go.
exactly.
Houston, what was the,
They did it right.
how many first rounders did Houston give up for Laramie Tunsil? Was it two?
It was three. I think it was three overall,
Three?
originally. And then
There you
and then
go.
because they were so bad, they obviously ended up getting two. They had two in the first. Was it the first three picks? So second and third. Was it they had?
No, they traded back into to three.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I'm saying
to get Will Anderson. To get Will Anderson. Yeah.
Yeah, so they got CJ and then they got him. And you know, it's made a huge difference. They were the two guys they really, really wanted. Thinking make a big
Detroit was the other one I was thinking about. Obviously, look at what they've done. I mean, Penei Sewell, unbelievable left tackle. Then you're going out and you're going, right, well, tackle we've kind of got sorted now. Okay, we've drafted Glasgow at centre, or sorry, at guard. Great player. Okay, happy with that. Right, who else have we got? Oh, I know. We need the best defensive end possible in the draft, so we go out and get Aiden Hutchinson. They were high picks. They weren't picking 16.
Number one pick, Hutchinson, wasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. They weren't picking 16. You know what I mean? Look at the Jags.
Yeah,
Trevor
these guys
Lawrence.
were bad. These guys were bad for a long time. These teams.
Correct.
They had high draft picks all the time.
And I think sometimes Washington fans need to understand, and this is a real problem, is I'm trying to plead patience, but I don't want to be patient myself. I don't want to be sitting here losing every week. It's shit. Everyone hates losing. You know, all we've known is losing. I'm sick of doing therapy Thursdays with you scouts going, oh, you know what? Well, it was okay. Let's look at the positives. I hate it. But you can't build a winner immediately overnight. And the good thing is Adam Peters knows this. San Francisco were horrible for the first couple of years. And then they got Colin Kaepernick and they got to the championship game.
Same exact system, same problem he had when he first moved to 49ers.
Correct.
They were Absolutely. A 3-16 team. Is a 3-13 team then?
3
was it 4-13? It was a 3-13, 16 game season then, wasn't it? So they were 3-13 or 4-12.
Or 4-12, yeah.
Same, virtually call it the same as us. You know, team in turmoil. They were, and you know, so Peters knows exactly what he needs to do. He knows exactly how to do it. You just gotta let the guy cook. Do you know what I mean? Let him do his thing. Don't get in his way. Help him as best we can as ownership and as fans as well. Don't be griefing him if we get this no-name guy that we're thinking, who the hell this guy from a free agency, you know, or whatever. Just give him a long leash. Let's see what he can do because he's done it. He's proven that he's done it in a problem that in a situation that we're in right now. He's proven that he can do it, and now look at the 49ers. They're a contender every year. So
they are. You're right.
Give him the time. Let's effing go. Do you know what I mean?
So Jesse from the Bleeding Burgundy in the bunker, as he called, he said with the Panthers hiring Canales. And them seemingly being out of competition for Johnson, being our only competition for Johnson, does it seem like it's a lock? So I mean, yeah, we've talked before,
about that. Yeah, so I think it's a lock. I think it's 95% done already.
I think so too.
And I think, isn't it amazing though? Doesn't it feel great that the two top guys out there are available? We go and get them both.
It's adults in the room, scouts.
No one ever shows up for us. You know, with Dan Snyder around, they're like, fuck that, I don't want to be there. Now these guys want to come here. They want to be the real deal. They want to start this up again. You know, they want us to be a superpower like we used to be. You know, so man, I'm excited, bro. I'm excited.
I am too. And I think this is why, in whatever way round we go, there is a way to do it quicker by trading back, by building the O-line, by spending the money in free agency, by building a squad. But it's going to take time to do that. It's not going to be an overnight 1 year fix. It's going to be a 2-3 year plan. And I don't like the word rebuild.
We're losing half the squad.
I know we are. 26 free agents this year. It's going to be very, very hard.
Yeah, I said the national. I think the average is like you lose a third of your squad.
Yeah, normally. Yeah,
not half.
That's right.
No,
so exactly. So on that point, then, I mean, we'll go to Doug, who's put a question in for us. He's DMAC Skins on X. He said, who do you think the Commanders target in free agency? Now, we talked a little bit about this last week. We obviously talked about Devin White. We talked about, a few others who are out there. I mean, I'm having a quick look here at Spot Rack, and obviously we've got Kirk Cousins, Ryan Tannehill, Leonard Williams is out there. I mean, Daniil Hunter's out there. There's a few that aren't really making the noise, but the positions we've got to target
Hunter's a beast.
are
He's just injury prone. That's the problem with Hunter.
yeah. The positions we've got to target are linebacker, absolutely. Offensive line, which there is very little of, especially at left side. Right tackle, there's a few options, but there's not a huge amount in there.
No one's
But
moving the needle for me on the offensive line in free agency.
free agency instead of the draft, free agent, because the draft is very, very hit and miss on defensive ends. I think we have to get a absolute premium defensive end. And if it's me, I'm going all out for Allen from the Jags.
Josh Allen.
But I don't think he gets there. I think he actually gets franchise tagged.
I think he gets tagged as well.
I don't think he gets there.
I think he gets
the other players that really would move the needle for me is people like Patrick Queen. I think he's very good. And the other one is Bryce Huff. I like him from New York Jets.
I was actually gonna mention.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Because he's a good pass rusher, man. He's a good pass rusher, and we need some good pass rushers. The guy got 10 sacks this year, you know.
Yeah, but from a
rotational piece. You know what I mean? Not bad.
But he's not even he's not even an end. He's a linebacker. He's playing outside linebacker. So
that was the end that I read, but I've not watched him too much. I just know about his stats. He looks decently. So
there's a few out there that you can pay a little bit more, less money on. I mean, the other way you could build the offensive line. I mean, I know he's not been very good the last couple of seasons, but do you give someone like Mekhi Becton a chance from the Jets? It's a big old unit. Yeah. I mean, he's not gonna command a lot of money, but he's a former first round pick for a reason. You don't just lose talent overnight.
I've got him any good.
Maybe not.
So for me, when it comes to free agency, I've got a couple of there's a couple of guys that I've kind of done a little bit of research, not too much. It depends what we're looking at. So obviously for me, obviously Patrick Queen's on there. Obviously he was on my list. Bryce Huff as well was another one.
Yeah.
But then once you've not mentioned, how about Calvin Ridley?
Oh, from the Jags. Yeah.
Decent receiver. How about Kyle Duggar as well? Safety from Pats.
Very good.
It looks like he might keep him, but we don't know yet for sure. So, it'd be great for safety for us. Or how about Snead from Kansas City as a cornerback?
He's so good, yeah.
I mean, he's awesome. So imagine getting some of these dudes in.
Yeah, okay,
I mean, they're going to cost money, those two, but bring it on, man.
I mean, I'm looking at linebacker as a whole here, and I mean, Mike Evans obviously as well. I don't think you're going to get anywhere near Mike Evans, to be honest, with the money he's going to want.
Well, they've got two guys, who might be tagged, and you only have one, so you can't have two. So you mentioned Evans, but also how about Antoine Winfield?
Zadarius Smith.
No, but Antoine Winfield is out of contract.
He is, yeah. I mean, there's a lot.
He's such a good with safety, tell you. So,
there's a lot out here.
The same.
There's a lot. There is still a lot out here, but it depends on what their market value is obviously going to be. I fully expect us to come out with two pieces who are going to be thereabouts, will be instant starters. I think we're probably going to commit. And again, this is what we talked about before, Scouse, and you talked about ad nauseum, and fair play to you for doing that, because we've now got cash-rich owners. We've not had that in 10, 15 years. We've always been miserly on signing bonuses. We've never been able to pay the wages that people want. You can absolutely finesse the cap and say, hey, here's 15 million in signing bonus, but we're only going to pay you 2 million this year. But then next year it goes up to 10. And then the year after that, it's 22. And you can finesse the cap that way. You can put void years in. You do all of that shit to make sure contracts go out. And that's when you're trying to build a squad.
That's why you need money up front to be able to do stuff like that.
Of course you do. And funnily enough, we have a man who can do that at the moment, who's bought this team. And we have an ownership group who's got money behind them who can do that. I mean, what's funny is the actual billions that they're worth. I think it's something like 30 or 8 billion or something between them. It's not as if they're not short of a bob or two, mate. You know what I mean?
No, but don't forget, they're all in assets.
No. Oh, of course they are. They're not cash.
With 30 billion.
It's not liquid assets, is it? I get that. But you can finesse it and say, hey, this is where we're going to be. We'll give you 15 mil up front. We'll give you this. So you could get a Patrick Queen. You could get a
White.
yeah, Devon White. I think we've desperately got a target linebacker. We've desperately got a target. And I think we also pick a linebacker
Safety
up
and
in.
corner. We got to go safety and corner in free agency as well, man.
Mhm.
We really
I think we
do
pick.
because
I think we
Kendall
pick
Fuller's
up a
gone.
line. Well, I don't know. I don't know if he is or he isn't.
Well,
But
he's
for
got a
his
contract,
market,
so
yeah, for his market money, not sure. Cam Curl's another question mark. We don't know if he's going to come back. So it's going to be an interesting off season. I do think they let him test the waters of free agency and see where
I
they
think
end
they
up.
should. I think they should see what he can get, and then if we're happy to pay more than that, then great. We keep him. But again, like everything, just got to wait and see how it goes, man.
Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard and it's tough at the minute. But I do think we see two big signings. For me, the areas and positions these are areas and positions that have been neglected for a few years. Offensive line can't really do a lot in free agency with that. You're going to have to build that through the draft. Tight end, Mike Gesicki is out there. Austin Hooper out there, not very good.
They're not
But
moving the needle for me, mate. They're not moving the needle.
is Gesicki better than Logan Thomas?
Well, yeah, he's better than him, but he's not that very. He's not good. So,
This is what I mean. But I would say yes. And then you think where else we've got to go? Probably got to go. I think we get Trotter in the draft out of Clemson as a linebacker. I think he's really good. Him and another linebacker and Jamin Davis. That's your three linebackers. If you go in three, I mean, we're going to have to go three probably because that's going to be a different defensive system most likely. And then you're looking at, you're right, cornerback, safety. There's a lot of holes on this squad. A lot of holes on this squad. So it's going to
yeah,
hold
man.
your hats. Hold your hats.
Yam,
It's going to be a really interesting free agency.
Yam Sensei's with us.
Go on, Yam.
All the way from Japan. He just says, in theory, there isn't a single player we have to keep. The only real hit on cap, if we let them go, would be Payne, and to a lesser extent, Terry. The turnover the
Yeah,
next 2 years is going to be big. And he went, I wish we can ship off Wiley. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100% agree with you.
We agree, man. We agree. Well, and he's right. He's right. The only two guys that would hit us on cab would be those two. Everybody else wouldn't really hit us that hard if we
Yeah.
just cleared out and get rid of everyone.
I mean, yeah, it's difficult. I mean, when the only three big contracts we've got on at the moment is Terry, Allen, and Payne, and it's difficult to think. But obviously, John Allen, that's a conversation that's got to happen between Adam Peters, the ownership group, to say, and the new head coach when he comes in to say, do you actually want to be here? Because there's lots and lots of rumors about Green Bay. There's lots of rumors about other areas of where other people are calling about John Allen as well. Look, someone's willing to give a second rounder up for him. I'll do that in a heartbeat. If it's a third and a fifth, yeah, I'm probably doing that too. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, you're gonna have to eat a little bit of cap, but it's not going to be that bad.
It's
You're
not.
probably going to actually
It won't be massive
save.
for John because he's got no guaranteed
Yeah,
money left, so it won't hit us hard at all, really. If he got traded, so
agreed.
would
So
we
we get
have
on
to?
to the lap.
Don't
Yeah,
want
go
to
on,
get rid
mate.
of him, no. But I think he just moaned that he wants a contract. That's personally what I think. But
We'll get on to the last bit then, which is the games. I mean, we've had divisional round games. Obviously, last week, Ravens 34, Texans 10, 49ers 24, Packers 21, the Lions 31, the Buccaneers 23, and the Bills and the Chiefs 24-27 to the Chiefs. Wide right Bills again. I mean, which for you? Did you watch all of these games? Did you stay up for them? Did you not? Did you watch highlights? I don't know how you went with that because we were talking through quite a few of the earlier games, weren't we? Like the
yeah,
Saturday and the Sunday
it's
games, but the
hard
other
to.
two were very
To
late.
be fair, I think I went bed at half time on the Bills game, even though I knew that was going to be the best game. I
I
just couldn't
did
stay
too.
awake, mate. It was like half one
Yeah,
by that time. So
I did too. And my wife walked up at 5 in the morning, nudged me and said, "The Chiefs won." I was like, "You what? I'm trying to watch that in the morning."
just
But
set
yeah,
you right up there. Like, cheers for that. It was wasted
oh,
time. Yeah,
yeah. But there you go.
But yeah,
But
man.
no, what did you think? What did you think of the divisional round? I mean, the Ravens just looked unbelievable.
Yeah, that
Uh,
defense is a different level. It really is. I mean, that was the system they did when they won it with Flacco so many 15 years ago, whatever it was. You know, they were average on offense, but defense was amazing. It was top tier. Like you just couldn't get more than like 14 points against them, and
Yeah,
that was the secret to success for them. And it's coming across the similar type of way. Yes, okay. Lamar's running it a lot more. I've noticed that. I know he ran it
Mhm.
quite a bit in the street in the main season, but now when it comes to the playoffs, they're really utilizing his running because I think that they tried to protect him throughout the season so he didn't get hurt. See what I mean?
Wow. Okay.
Because he gets hurt every year because he runs all the time. But now they're utilizing it. They were a lot smarter throughout the season with him. Now that he's fully healthy, and now he's tearing teams up in the playoffs. You know what I mean? So, and it's not because of his passing. It's again, it's always about his running. That's what's going to keep them going on offense. That's what's going to keep them giving them enough points to win games. That's why I think they're going to get to the final, the Super Bowl. I really do.
Oh, I do too. I think honestly, it's so weird that I mean, there's this theory out there with if you look at the Super Bowl logos, it tells you who's in the team colors. Mate, it is like 49ers and the Ravens looks pretty solid, to be honest. I mean, I'm looking at it thinking, okay. I mean, going back to the 49ers, they literally just squeaked through against Green Bay. I know that obviously Jordan Love was on hero ball at the very end there, throwing across his body, which is not what you want to see at all for any quarterback to do right across the middle of the field. But he played his arse off. And I was not impressed at all with Brock Purdy. I didn't think anything of him. I thought, you look okay. But they did enough. And that's what the 49ers do. They do enough to get there.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's all you need to do. Keep winning games. Doesn't matter how many points you score, how many you concede. As long as you win, as long as you get more points.
The Bucks, obviously, and the Lions. I mean, we can talk about that game. The Lions hosting their first divisional game in like forever. I think they won their first playoff since 1993, the week before. So now they've got their second, obviously, at home. I mean, the Buccaneers were in this right till the very end. Baker Mayfield thrown in an interception with a minute and a bit to go. They were trying to drive as well. And the Lions did enough as well. But the Lions, I thought their offense looked very good in this game. I thought, but they just, for whatever reason, the defense couldn't get stops and they left the Buccaneers hanging around. And for me, when I watched that game now, when I watched that game, I was like, you know what? Baker's going to get paid at the end of this year by the Buccaneers. That's the Baker Mayfield who you draft as an overall number one pick. He looked pretty decent.
Look what happened now, mate. Look what's happened today. He's just lost his defensive coordinator.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, yeah, of course
Canales
he has. Of course he has. Canales has just gone, yeah.
So is he going to be paid there? They might tag him, but it's a lot of money. But they might tag him.
It's not as much as paying him a deal, though, is it? That's the other thing. It's not as much.
Well, it depends how much you do, because I think the tag's 35, isn't it? 36.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's a lot of money to tag this year. Were you impressed with the Lions? Were you impressed with the Bucks?
I was impressed enough. But I mean, again, I wasn't mind blown. I just think that Johnson did what he had to do, if that makes sense. He didn't blow any teams off. He didn't blow any team out the way. There was a couple of good plays here and there, but most of it was just kind of a good offense going in there, but not like an elite offense. So I think so. From what I'm used to seeing from them in most games, it was probably a little bit lower standard than what I'm used to seeing from them. But it is obviously the playoffs. You take on the better teams, so the better defenses. So you got to kind of expect some of it. You know what I mean? So evens out.
And do you think though that it was just maybe nerves as well? Possibly. Do you know what I mean? We've not got this far in a long, long time, and you think.
Definitely. I think nerves definitely played a part at the start. Definitely. I mean, they were both bad, weren't they, at the start?
They were, yeah.
They were. And then obviously they got into the game a bit, and so yeah. I mean, I definitely agree. There's definitely a lot of teams that do that, especially who aren't used to being in the playoffs. Now, that's why I was really impressed with Jordan Love, really, and CJ.
I was too. Yeah.
Especially in the wild card round, not this week, but last week. They were really impressive, both of them. They took like a duck to water. So that they're going to be the real deal. I mean, you can see it. Okay, but they lost, and CJ Stroud got shut down. Yeah, okay, but he took on the elite defense. Probably the best defense in the league. So, with a great play caller as well. So it's all
Yeah.
relative, mind. But them two are going to be around for a long time. Them two,
Oh
Rodgers,
yeah,
they're going
100%.
to be
I
around.
mean,
But
it's just fucking galling, isn't it? The Green Bay have now got their third franchise quarterback, and we still
you know
haven't
what they're
found
doing, don't
one.
they? Do you know what they're doing with Green
They
Bay?
do know what they're doing. They do know what they're
Know
doing
what
with
they're
a
doing?
quarterback. I
That's it.
mean,
They do the real way of doing it, how it's supposed to be done, in my mind. That should
sit
be how it's
them,
supposed to be done.
sit them.
Because sitting for a couple of years, okay, you know, Rodgers was like into his fourth year, so he sat three.
Yeah.
Love sat four, I think, or was he three as well? I can't remember, but three or
No,
four.
he was four. He was four.
See what I mean? So these guys are like
Yeah.
experienced, as in like know the system inside out. Because don't forget, in those time periods as well, they didn't get rid of the offensive, either the OC or the head coach in
True.
those time frames. So
Yeah.
they were consistent. They knew the system inside out, and then they're ready to come in. Bang, there it is. See what I mean? And that's why, and that's really the best way of doing it. But most like for example, like us, we want to win as soon as we can, and
Yeah.
that
So what have
means
you done for me lately? It's
we just
what
got
have
to
you done
put
for
up.
me lately, League, innit, Scouse?
Yeah,
That's it. You
definitely.
know what I mean?
How many times did Green Bay get grilled for taking Jordan Love at the start?
Oh,
We
yeah,
didn't take it in before
100%.
in the first one. Blah 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 blah. And it's like, well, yeah, but this we know in 3 or 4 years this guy's going to be legit. They know to coach quarterbacks as well to actually be good. So for them, they were quite pleased. They were quite happy with it. They're not bothered. I mean, it's going to be paying for next season for them when they've got to pay him, but after one good season. But
100%.
uh,
Yeah.
um,
And then we've got to get on to the final game. I mean, Kansas City again
I'm sick of seeing
against
Mahomes
Bucks.
in the semis. I really am. Or the divisional game. I'm
I
sick
know
of
what you mean. I know what you mean, but it is frustrating, and I'm with you. I'm starting to get sick of it, just going, oh, Mahomes again, every single year. But is this not something we've just got to sit back and marvel at? Because he is unreal. He is the guy. He is the one. Honestly, the off script stuff, the stuff that he does with that ball and the way that he throws, he's got everything. He is the guy. No matter what. Yeah, he's annoying. Yeah, you look at him and go, not you again. But it's almost like we're back to New England. We're back to that dynasty of going, oh shit, it's Patrick
Tom Brady
Mahomes
again.
again.
Blah blah
It's
blah.
Tom Brady like we had before. Are we in that phase now where the Chiefs are just going to be dominant? Because I don't actually think they were all that good. I think this was more the fact that the Bills blew this rather than the Chiefs won it
There
for
was
me.
a lot of mistakes from the Bills. I mean, even Jan mentions on our YouTube channel here. He mentions gutted for the Bills fans and Josh
Mm.
Allen. Someone put up a compilation video of all the drop balls and fumbles, etc., and like just that team just let Josh down. Period. He was pretty much carrying that team, and he was. Well, he was carrying that team.
Yeah,
How many drops did he have? No, in that match, when you look at the highlights afterwards, like bloody hell. If even if there's half those things went his way, they would have won the game.
yeah.
So and it's like I just yeah, man. I don't hate Mahomes like I hated Brady because Brady
No, no, not at all.
Brady was a cheat as well. So that's why I don't like him either. He was a cheat.
Deflategate.
Flake and all that.
Deflategate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man, he's
yeah, I
all
know.
involved in it. I lost my phone. Oh, then they got destroyed. Oh, yeah, all right, bro. So anyone who does it to cheat, I can't deal with that. I'm morally in the right place. They're not. I understand win. I understand kind of win at all costs. And even Jesse would say something like, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. Something stupid like that. He always says. For me, that is something that is ridiculous because you should win it. The better man won on the day, not the better cheat. To see what I mean? So, so I'm you know what I mean? I'm just kind of struggling really to say what I want to say because I'm just like I've had enough of Mahomes. I've had enough of I've had enough of them.
Well, I honestly think this weekend we won't have to see Mahomes again, hopefully, after this weekend. So we go on to the championships then. So we've got the conference championships, the AFC conference championships, the Ravens versus the Chiefs. What are your thoughts on that? Who's winning that game?
I think Ravens.
Mm.
I think the
Yeah, I
Ravens
think I,
are
I
at
I think
home.
Lamar. I think Lamar's going to do it too. I think Lamar's going to do it too.
I
I'm
don't
not
think it'd be Lamar that does it. I think it'll be because
the
that
defense.
defense is good, man. It is.
Yeah.
So For me, it's going to be about the turnover battle. For me, whoever gives the least turnovers is going to win the game. Simple as that.
And Mahomes
Uh,
is prone to giving a turnover.
exactly, yeah, exactly. And say he's playing away, and obviously it's going to be probably another cold day for him or whatever it is. He's used to the cold, so it's not a massive problem for him. But for me, that defense is something different, man. At Ravens, it really is, and I think they're going to confuse Mahomes. If anyone's going to be able to get to Mahomes, like as in his head, it's this Ravens defense. So I'm in on that. I'm in on
Yeah.
Ravens winning, and I think they'll win. I think it'll be a low scoring game. I really do. I think you think more.
Oh.
You think Mahomes. You think Lamar. You think these guys. But I think defenses are going to run this game. I think it's going to be something like 21-17, something like that. It's going to be a low scoring game.
Mm.
But I do think Ravens take it.
Yeah, I think Ravens win too. I think Ravens win, and I think they're headed into the Super Bowl. And the other, obviously, the NFC Championship game is the 49ers at home against the Detroit Lions. Is there a way that you see Detroit making an upset here and getting to the Super Bowl?
Oh, why can't they? Why?
I mean,
Why
I'm
not?
not saying they can't. I'm not saying they
That's
can't.
what I'm saying.
But
The answer for me should be, well, why not? Why not us? Because, the 49ers haven't been special in the playoffs.
not last week.
They
Not
haven't.
after last week. No.
No.
Christian McCaffrey doesn't look particularly healthy.
He's banged up,
But
isn't he? He's banged up. So,
he is a talent. No Debo Samuel.
that's a huge one. That's a huge one if he's not playing. I think he's 50-50, isn't he, for this game? But I say that's a problem, that's a problem if he's not fit. I mean, when I'm looking at kind of who's going to win, I want, with my head, the Niners are going to win.
Yeah,
But with my heart, I want the Lions to win.
So do I. Yeah.
So it's kind of like
I'd love to see a Detroit Ravens Super Bowl. Absolutely, 100%. That's what I want to see.
yeah,
We know it's not going to be that. It's probably going to be a Kansas City friggin' 49ers, which is just like, really? Okay. But I actually do think the Ravens do beat the 49ers. It's already pretty scripted anyway. I said that before. Look at the colors in the Super Bowl logo. They're purple and red. So come on now. You know what I mean? It's already there. It's already there. But funnily enough, the ones for next year are burgundy and gold.
Well,
they're not, by the way.
yeah.
It's not been announced yet or anything like that. So I just made
Nice,
that up.
very nice.
I thought, well, why not? Why not? You know what I mean? But,
Yam's last message was like, I don't mind Holmes, but I hate his brother. And I don't
100%. I think he's an absolute dick.
I don't hate Taylor Swift, but I hate the circus around her.
Yeah, agreed as well. I think, but what Yam's got to remember, and we all know this as well, and I'm sure he does. I'm not trying to patronize him at all, but it's a circus because the NFL needs to make that money. So if you can put a superstar like Taylor Swift on the stage, you can put her in the booth, you can show her cheering, blah, blah, show her cheering, Travis Kelce, this, that, and the next thing. Look, genuinely, right? This is how ridiculous it is, right? We are in the top 25 podcasts in the UK for NFL. Okay, genuinely, we are on Spotify, and we don't get a huge amount of downloads, which is pretty cool. But then I look at the figures and I look back and I think, okay, who's going to be number one? Well, it's clearly the Kelce brothers and the New Heights podcast. And I look at them and I go, right, how many downloads have they got in the UK alone? 1.5 million last week. All right, worldwide, it's like 6.5 mil, and you think to yourself, my God. Before Taylor Swift was dating Travis Kelce, they were getting about 800,000 downloads. So it's pretty much
so basically doubled up. Never enough.
Yeah, because they want to hear
Swifties, aren't you?
Of course they do. Of course they are.
And eventually, when they break up, because they will, because Taylor can't keep down a man. That's her problem.
Wow, we've gone Taylor Swift on the pod.
How many fellas? Yeah, then not be able to.
Do you know what? I don't care. Let her live her life. I do not give two shits.
Whatever she wants, but the thing is like as soon as she leaves, so will the Swiftie fans. So they'll
but I'm not
half download again.
I'm not interested in this whole narrative of she's ruining the game, bruh. It's a woman cheering on her boyfriend. Get on with it. It's life.
She's not ruining the game. I mean, she's not in the game.
That's what people are saying, aren't they? And this is
So she's in the
this is
game. That's a
the
bit different, you know.
yeah,
She's
this is
like
this well,
on
yeah,
the
true.
back.
This is the weird world of social media, and we're not going to go down that route. So we'll keep it strictly to football. Keep
Yam's
it
got one
strictly to
more. He
football.
goes, I don't want I don't want the Ravens either. Kind of a conundrum.
Wow.
I don't want Ravens or Chiefs.
Well, it's got to be one of
Getting
them.
one of them, man. You're getting one.
So that hopefully answers Commander Viscount's question, because he put in there, who do you see winning this weekend's divisional games to get to the Super Bowl? So I hope that's answered your question, Commander Viscount. We are pretty much out here. We've answered all of our fan questions. So thank you if you've submitted a fan question on X. So Commander Viscount, shout out to you. Shout out to Simon Thurston. Shout out to Jesse24, Bleeding Burgundy, Inner Bunker. Please go and watch the Bleeding Burgundy podcast with me, John, occasionally Scouse, occasionally Keith and Jesse. The Bunker is also on. When do you record? Is it Mondays and Fridays, Scouse?
Usually, but obviously we've had a bit of a hiatus recently, haven't we? So
Yeah, and we get that. It's the off season. Totally understand. So shout out to Burrows as well, who is co-host with Jesse again on that one. Shout out to DMAX Skins, Doug. Thank you for putting in a question, and then Craig Skinner as well. Thank you for putting a question. Genuinely, I mean, I know we've only started doing live streams the last few weeks to see what's going on here. We absolutely appreciate the people who are in the chat, the people who are watching. I had a look before, there was like 20 watching at some point. We genuinely appreciate you being on here. Please like and subscribe to the channel on YouTube if you're watching. Please download the podcast from any of your podcast catcher apps. You're the lifeblood of this show. Otherwise, it's just me and you, like two blokes in a pub having a chat. And to be honest with you, I can't wait for a couple of weeks' time, because we'll be in a pub together having a chat with Mr. Burrows as well. So it'll be good. You know what I mean? It'll be very, very good. We might do a bit of a live stream just for a couple of minutes, just to take some chat questions if we while we're on the drink, while we're down there, I think. But no, have a great weekend, Scouts. Enjoy these championship games. I hope it goes well. Thanks for being on with me, buddy. Really,
always,
really
man.
appreciate
And
it.
Yam's got one more question before.
Go on, Yam. Let's get it in there, mate.
He goes, quick question. Who do you want at 2?
Who do I want at 2? Okay. Well, I want well, that's a really tough question. I honestly don't know. I would say Drake May. If it was me, I'd take Drake May at 2. Not because I don't want it, just because I think you've got a very good quarterback who can be molded, and you get that 5th-year option. Do I want that? No, I wanted Sam to work out, and I would have took Joe Alt, but we wouldn't be picking it 2. Yeah. So
that's the problem, isn't it?
It is what it is.
One at 2, and that's the hard part in it, because for me, I'm going to say Caleb Williams and just hope to God he's there at 2.
Oh yeah,
that's my only. That's my only answer, really.
But I don't think he is going to be there.
I want to trade down if I can. If he's not there, I want to trade down.
Okay, interesting.
As you mentioned before, I want to trade down dimension to get Joe Alt to say 4 or 5. That's what I wanted to do. So,
well, thanks everyone anyway, and we appreciate you being on. We'll be on the same time. This pod, if you're listening, will drop in about half an hour into your feed. But you're already there if it's there. You can catch Scouse. He is Scouse Andy 20 on X or Twitter. I'm Scotty H84 on Twitter, and the show is 1 Point Safety 4. If you are a graphic designer or you are a videographer and you know how to work YouTube, please drop us a DM. It might be worth it. We have an intro.
Trying to sort it out, man. It's just funny, man.
It is ridiculous. So if you caught that 4 or 5 minute live stream before, appreciate you. You're probably going to have a laugh. But there you go. Well, we'll see you all